Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is live tonight. It's Friday Night Lights with my friends Willie Walls and Odell Blocker, the great Swame. Look at him, he's all pumped up. We got a lot of news, a lot of notes. We're going to cover it all for you here. Let's get started with Russell Wilson heading to the Denver Broncos in a big trade. Bye-bye, Seattle. See you later, Pete Carroll. I'm out of there going to a team that's going to let me throw the football. Willie Walls, how much do we like this deal for the Broncos?
I like it. I mean, you had Drew ass milk lock. You got Russell Wilson finally with the chains off. He was like the Chango being chained up. Finally get a chance, and he's got viable receivers in Denver. They're very viable. And I think, then he's going to have a defense. The defense is not bad. And I just think Russ, I think Pete Carroll, and Russ, they needed a divorce to get away from each other because Russ was not happy and they didn't let him do what he needed to do. And Seattle was so runified, that I think finally, I think Russ finished the season in the top 5, the 14 to 18 weeks. Remember the first couple of weeks he had that hand injury, so that really hampered him. So I think it's a great deal for Denver, and they finally and with that running back they got, that play action pass is going to mean something this year. I think Denver is in really good shape.
Swami, did Denver give up too much? I mean, it was Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, and a boatload of picks. Did Seattle make a good deal?
First, Doc, glad to be back. Yeah. Anyway, just fired up, Doc. Pumped up to be back. Let me tell you what. I think they gave up a lot, but I think it was worth it based on where their team is at right now. They got a lot of pieces in place. And I think sometimes you'll see Tampa did the same thing a couple of years ago, right? They brought in some guy, you might have heard of him, from New England. They had a good team. They needed a quarterback. They needed a leader. They needed somebody who could kind of get them over the top. Denver's got a lot of talent on their team, I think, especially at, the skill positions on that offense. I think even though Font was a good player, they started to like, that tight end that they had that was behind him. I wish I was able to say his name, Doc. I'm sure you'll help me with that. But they had started to like him a lot last year. He was there. He was becoming a guy that they really liked anyway. So I don't think, Font having to go out there, what is he going to do? Sit behind Everett anyway? I'm not even really sure what Seattle wanted and what they were thinking there. Maybe they just getting some depth at tight end, or maybe they're thinking, who knows? But this was a good deal for the Broncos. I think they think that Wilson's the guy to bring them in. They want a leader. They wanted somebody who they could come in and run their offense. I think they got a lot of pieces. And so I think they made the right decision here, even though they did give up a little bit.
All right, guys. Cortland Sutton, stock up or way up?
Way up.
Way up.
Jerry Jeudy, stock up or way up?
Way up. Amazon, Tesla. These jokers are through big. What is it? Crypto.
Tim Patrick, up or way up?
Way up.
Well, he's up.
Remember the receivers Russ used to throw to in the beginning? He ain't had no receivers. He ain't had no Metcalf.
And I think who might become his favorite receiver could be Patrick. He could be in the mix there. His new favorite.
Tim Patrick's good. He's good.
Yeah, he could be in the mix. People don't just miss out on Mr. Patrick.
So Javonte Williams through the roof, right?
Yo, he should be writing Christmas cards right now. His pen should be out.
But just think about the play action, because you got to respect it, And Russ, one thing Russ does is throw one of the best deep balls, and you saw that in the last few games of the season. Man, that deep ball looked beautiful, and man, I mean, you can't listen. Sutton, that's what he runs. Now he's going to be running under Russ Wilson's deep passes.
Judy as well.
Yeah, I mean Judy, but Judy is gonna man that middle.
But he like those deep crossing routes.
That's what I'm saying. But he's gonna man that middle. But
saying.
that's gonna open up. Listen. Russ gonna feel like he's out of jail. No Pete Carroll. No. Let's run it on the first 2 downs. No.
All right, let's look at it from Seattle for a second, okay? Let's just assume, for argument's sake, they don't do much. Lockett stock down, DK Metcalf stock way down. If they don't add anybody decent.
Oh yeah. If they don't,
they are like Blockbuster video stock. They are way down.
If they don't get anybody, they are done. And I'll be going in the 8th or 9th round for them.
Now, I told you guys today, I heard some intel, and this is before it even came out. I heard it like 10 this morning. When Deshaun Watson was not going to be indicted, Seattle's radar went up, and that deal has been thought about. I think Seattle had a deal in mind when they traded Russ that they were going to back it up getting Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson ends up in Seattle for a boatload of picks, a couple of players, whatever that is, are Metcalf and Lockett back to being Metcalf and Lockett?
Oh, absolutely. But this is the thing you still got to take in account. That offensive line, okay? That offensive line needs to be addressed. Okay, see one thing. So I don't care what kind of quarterback you are. If that offensive line ain't worth for nothing, you're gonna have some issues. But Watson is definitely a grade A1 quarterback, but you still need protection. They still got to address that offensive line.
Swame, Watson's played with a bad offensive line in the Texans before, but how is he going to coexist with Pete Carroll, who may put the clamps on that offense? But the way I see it, let's say that Watson misses 6 or 8 games. You got Drew Lock, who could play the first 6 or 8 games, and then Watson comes in the second part of the year. Can Watson and Pete Carroll make nicey-nicey?
I think if that's the situation, I think they will. I think it gives both of them an opportunity. Pete Carroll has to kind of do something to kind of get this team going in a different direction. He's got a bunch of picks. I think they're going to take advantage of some stuff in the draft. He's going to have to. Watson obviously trying to put that stuff behind him. He's looking to come in. He's probably going to be focused. He's going to be, looking to get into the organization, get into camp, start to develop a relationship with the team and his receivers. So I could see them hitting the ground running. But he might be running for his life. Like Wall said, like I said, Walls is crazy, but he ain't that crazy. He know what he talking about when he come to that dog offensive line. It's going to be tough. It's hard for any quarterback to kind of, have any type of long-term. Is he going to be upright? I mean, they couldn't. Russell Wilson was beat up. And Deshaun Watson could face something similar if they don't address some of those holes. I think they got the picks to do it. I think they're going to, at least try to address some of those things during the draft. But if they don't, he'll be running for his life.
If they keep those picks, because what if they move those picks to Houston to get Watson? That could be an issue.
Then it's going to be a younger. Because see, one thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Watson's a great, but Russ was one of the best on the run. I mean, and he had to learn how to run early. He been running, since he been in Seattle. So, so
did it look like Russ gained a little weight at the end there in Seattle?
I mean,
it looked like Russ got a little thick.
Well, he tried to, Doc, because he got to take that damn punishment every year. He need to have a little bit more sturdiness to him. He still moved, but I mean, come on, Russ is 34. I mean, 33 years. Come on. I mean, but the bottom line is, if you get beat up like that, Doc, it's like you getting smacked, like somebody come in your house and just smack you. You're not gonna like it. And you can't block it. You're just gonna get smacked. After about 20 slaps, you're gonna get kind of concussed. And that's what Russ was facing.
He was playing through a lot of injuries.
But let me say this though. I will say this. One of the precursors is they probably got to say, listen, Pete Carroll, you got to let the reins go. It might be front office, because if I'm Watson, I said, listen, if I come there, I want freedom. You know what I mean? You got to change your ways where it's not a 2 downs in a cloud of dust, then we throw the ball. So that might be one of the precursors before him getting there. So Pete Carroll is going to have to evolve. You know, I think if it's going to be successful,
he's 70 years old. How much is he evolving?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
he's got to be like Dick Vermeil did when he, remember with the Rams. That's what he's got to do. He's got to be Dick Vermeil. You know, he evolved when he was 70. If you remember that offense they had, he's gonna have to do something like that. Pete's gonna have to let it go.
He stumbled into that offense in the preseason. But
okay, into Trent Green breaking his leg.
Okay. Whatever you say.
By the way, did you guys see that movie? Did you see the Kurt Warner movie? I didn't see it yet. Was it any good?
I didn't see.
I didn't see the movie. No.
All right, I do want to see that movie. All right, let's talk about another quarterback who ends up most likely signing a very, very large contract in Green Bay. His name is Aaron Rodgers. First question I have for you, Swame, was there any surprise that Rodgers goes back to Green Bay?
No, not really. Not for me. I think when you know how you're surprised when you see some of these quarterbacks kind of move late in their career, but when it happens, it's usually because it's a guy pushing them out that's behind them. I mean, a guy of that caliber. Like it was Aaron Rodgers' maturation that kind of pushed out Favre, right? You're not pushing out. It was Steve Young that kind of pushed out Montana. You're not pushing these guys out for Walls. No, you're just not doing it. And that guy they got there, I would take Walls over that guy who's sitting behind him. I'm telling you, I ain't see no love from him at all. And so that franchise is still close, much closer than a lot of these other teams. Right, they are still putting up great numbers. They still got, a defense behind them. They got people at the skill position. They might need one piece. We kind of talked about this piece a little bit. I think they could use a DK Metcalf in Green Bay.
They're not going to get a D. So listen, stop. Get out of Fantasy Island because you're in Fantasy Island right there. That ain't happening. But let me say this: I think that. Green Bay should have done the right thing the first time because they overpaid. And, they overpaid. And listen, Rodgers was ass last year in the playoffs. I don't care what you say. Rodgers
was terrible in that game. He was terrible.
He was terrible in that game. Yeah. Listen, for me, if you're going to talk about James Harden choking up, that rascal should have more playoff, Super Bowl appearances.
So did he make Aaron Rodgers stay in bounds?
Yeah, I mean, but listen, all I got to say is this. He played terrible that game. You let Jimmy Asafalo win that game.
No, that wasn't Jimmy G. That was Debo. That was better coaching.
Yeah, I understand that. But the point being is Rodgers did not come through.
That was Jones who stayed in bounds, but for the half.
All I got to say is if was a fifth, we'll all be drunk. Okay? Aaron Rodgers did not play well that game. I don't care. Stop taking up for that bastard that chokes in the damn playoffs.
He might didn't play well enough to win, but he didn't lose the game.
Yeah, but all I got to say is, listen, you lost to the Niners, and then you're going to overpay, and this bastard's going to be going downhill. And he's a prima donna, always got some kind of excuse.
Yeah, but Willie, if you get rid of him, what are you going to add? Who are you going to put on
I understand you got him, but what I'm saying is if they did the right thing the first time, they wouldn't have to overpay like they did. Now you got to pay Adams, right?
What's the right thing?
They should have taken care of this the first year, not let it go like this. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, I'm about to say, you sound like you were being a little disrespectful to Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
We don't talk about Mr. One Super Bowl Aaron Rodgers. He got the same amount of Super Bowls as Mark Rippon.
We don't talk about Hall of Fame quarterbacks on this show.
He got the same amount of Super Bowls than Mark Rippon. What's that quarterback that played for the Ravens? Trent Dilfer. He got the same amount of Super Bowls as Trent Dilfer.
Look, in my opinion, there was no way Rodgers was leaving Green Bay. The NFC is so bad quarterback-wise. Daniel Jones might be a top 10 quarterback in the NFC. That's how bad it is. The AFC, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Josh Allen, you got Justin Herbert, you got Russell Wilson, you got Joe Burrow, you got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's a who's who of good quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is literally 2 games from a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson may not even make the playoffs next year. How does Aaron Rodgers not stay with the Packers?
Well,
exactly.
They had to, but they overpaid for Aaron Rodgers. That's my whole point. I mean, how old is Aaron Rodgers?
Did you see his numbers last year? Overpaid.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Have you seen his numbers when it counts?
You keep
have
trying
you
to blame
seen his
Aaron
numbers
Rodgers.
when it counts?
You keep trying to blame Aaron Rodgers.
It's not Aaron Rodgers though, Willie. The team is not great outside. If you double cover Adams, tell me who else you're throwing to. Who?
Exactly.
Me.
That's right.
Exactly. And you're awful.
Listen.
Exactly.
All I have to say is this. I think they overpaid for Rodgers. I mean, and I think it's going to handicap them wanting to get what they want to get because they got to pay Adams.
You ask the folks in Green Bay, Doc. They're naming kids after. They're going to name streets and buildings after. They're going to put up a statue. And you talking about they overpaid.
How many Super Bowls does Brett Favre have?
I promise you'd rather have Aaron Rodgers for the Commanders.
How many Super Bowls does Brett Favre have? Answer my question.
I bet the Commanders would take Aaron Rodgers, and they'd empty. You overpaid for.
Hey, listen. First of all, don't even speak about the Commanders because they stink. They stink.
I'll let Doc ask the questions.
By the way, considering both you guys are veterans, do you like the name Commanders for Washington?
I mean, it's okay.
It's not the worst name, Doc. It's not maybe in the football tradition, but
I mean, if you like cold toilet seats and things of that nature, maybe you would like the name. I don't know.
You ever hit
the Washington
Latrines? It's not the worst name. I mean,
all right, I don't want to go on a tangent. All right, Devontae Adams. There's no. I mean, you're him. You can't be happy you're getting franchise tagged, right, Swame? You can't be happy that you're getting the 1-year deal, even if it's going to be 21 mil.
But if it keeps you with Rodgers while you guys try to figure it out and see what you got and buy you got to buy the organization a little bit of time. You don't want to sign him to a long-term deal because, in my opinion, them guys they're Batman and Robin. I don't know if he's the same wide receiver, just like I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is the same quarterback without each other.
Absolutely.
I think that's
Adams was there.
Yeah, I'm not paying him.
They had to franchise him, and then they're going to work out some kind of deal where they were working out during the year, where they got to free up some money. But listen, you got no choice. When you brought Rodgers back, he's part of the deal, or Rodgers wouldn't have signed.
Right.
All right, let's take a look at your Commanders here, Willie Walls. I think this. So let me just break down Carson Wentz going to the Commanders. I'm going to give you the one bit of good news here, okay? I'm going to give you good news because it's mostly bad. You would have overpaid for somebody. Wentz has a very decent contract. It's not crazy expensive. He's played in that division before. He will have all the incentive in the world to do it against the Eagles. He is not good, but there's a lot of bad quarterbacks out there. And instead of overpaying for Marcus Mariota or Mitch Trubisky, at least you get a dude in there who doesn't completely suck. I mean, that's the best I can come up with because the Colts are happy to get rid of him.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever heard of a draft? Do they still have draft? Do they still have sleepers at quarterback?
They drafted Dwayne Haskins.
I believe Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft choice. I just want to know. I think where was Russell Wilson? Was he in the 3rd round? I just want to know.
Yeah, but this is a weak draft for quarterbacks.
I hear you, but like I said, I just got a question. I mean, just answer my question. I mean, all these Super Bowl quarterbacks weren't 1st rounders. The Commanders are some dumb. And it starts with that behind in the front office, Mr. Ass Snyder. That's why Mr. Pedophile, he can't keep his hand off his employees, and it just filters down into this dumb decision. And here you go, a team who could not stand the quarterback. He was milk. He had the great offensive line and still couldn't get it done. And it happens. But here come the Commanders. Oh, no. We want to overpay for some ass milk who's going to have a contract hit of $22 million. I mean, are you kidding me? They are the dumbest franchise ever. If you want to swindle somebody, just go to the Commanders. I don't care what their name. Their name should be ass milk.
That's what it should be, because they stink. The front office stinks. They stink.
Doc, where's the mute button, Doc? What is it? This guy's bringing up allegations about the. None of this has anything to do with Carson Wentz.
Wentz stinks. If you want to know
Doc,
about
please,
Wentz, he stinks.
Doc, please ask my question, please.
He's Mr. Heineke.
No, I would take Heineke over Wentz, by the way. I would take Heineke over Wentz.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this. You think the Colts were excited to get rid of Wentz? Because I do.
Here's what I can say about Wentz. And this happens to a lot of quarterbacks, right? For whatever reason, sometimes things don't go their way. It happened with running backs. Just about, maybe you can make a claim for just about every position. But some guys really kind of don't get things to go their way when they need it to. Like kind of Odell Beckham in the Super Bowl this year, right? Guy looks like he could be on his way potentially to maybe being like an MVP type of guy in the game. And then he has this kind of no contact injury over the middle while he is. And who knows what that would mean for him, Super Bowl MVP and that type of year. That's what I mean by that kind of bad luck. So let me tell you something about Mr. Wentz. Mr. Wentz last year, over 3,500, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Same type C 2017, he had 33-7. 2018, 21-7. 2019, 21-7. He had 2 seasons where he was around 16 touchdowns and about 14 interceptions. The rest of them, we've kept it down to 7 interceptions and over 21 touchdowns, right? 3-to-1 ratio. If you can't even name any other Redskin quarterbacks, you have to go back to the doggone 91 team before you can even find somebody with that kind of ratio. Maybe the rookie year that you had, y'all caught lightning in the bottle for RG3, but that's it. And most teams around the league aren't getting that type of performance at quarterback.
Listen, excuse me, I disagree with what you said. Listen, those stats.
What, the stats or the facts?
The stats are misleading. First of all, if he was like that, the goddamn Colts would not have got rid of his ass. Okay? He stunk. The last few games of the season, he was a shell of himself. They lost
at Jacksonville. They looked terrible at Jacksonville.
He was scared to throw the ball. They didn't have no trust in him. He was done. He was the same in Philadelphia. As soon as those fans start turning on him, he's done. He's a head case. I'll tell you what, he's one of the best thieves I ever seen in my life. He just puts a mask on and steals money. That's all he does. He's a great stealer. You need to put him up. What are those two guys, the 2 bank robbers, the male and female? What were their names?
Albert Hainsworth.
He's Bonnie and Clyde. That must be their damn nephew.
Bruce Smith.
Because he's stealing
money.
That bastard is stealing money.
Y'all
I don't want to hear it. He stinks.
Y'all have a long list.
Get rid of him. The coach had the best offensive line. And he stinks. He smells. I don't want to hear nothing else about Mr. Wentz. I'm going to tell you what I think about Mr. Wentz. It's 2 words. D-O-O. D-O-O. He is due. I would say the other word, but I don't want to get
madman.
He sucks.
This guy is a madman.
Just got him.
Do I have to mute this guy?
I wish something, Doc. Bring order in the court. I don't know what he's talking about. If they bringing him in to back up, compete for the job, whatever, I'm telling you, this guy has not been one of these guys who you would just say, I don't want any parts of. Yeah, he's had some injury concerns. He has to probably stay healthy. The Redskins have a lot of pieces over there. They've been, making a little push. They've been right there trying to get over. Can't stay healthy at a couple positions. I'm sorry, apologies. The Commanders can't stay healthy at a couple of positions. And again, he's taking them back to those old days and talking about old things. And that's why I brought up that old name. But these are the Commanders, and they're moving forward, and they got command and control of that offense, and his name is Mr. Carson Wentz.
So I got a guy for the Colts, and I think this is a pretty obvious fit. I think Jimmy G goes to Indianapolis, plays behind that offensive line, hands the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, throws a little bit to Zach Ertz if he signs there, which is the rumors, throws a little to T.Y. Hilton, doesn't lose any games, beats Jacksonville when they need to get into the playoffs. Trey Lance is the starting quarterback for the 49ers, and Jimmy G goes to the Colts. It makes too much sense to me, Willie Walls.
I mean, listen,
I will take Jimmy G, Tommy G, the BGs. I will take anybody over Mr. Wentz. I would even take Aunt TT over Mr. Wentz. He stinks, like I said. So listen,
Swame, do you like Jimmy G going to the Colts?
I don't, and the reason why is because the Colts kind of, they got something nice going over there, and I don't know if they need Jimmy G. Right? I'm not. If they went that direction, I don't know.
Guy's gone to a Super Bowl, gone to a championship game. He wins. He wins games.
Yeah,
looks good in New Jersey.
Yeah,
women love him.
Is Debo coming with him?
Yeah, he wishes.
Oh well,
he's got Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. I mean, Taylor's going to do his thing, but are you going to be able to help him out? And that's why I think they might need somebody else who can come in there. Again, I like when you grab a Wentz, right? I'm going to use a bad analogy, a bad example, right? I won't want to set this guy off because he's already demonstrated that he's a loose cannon tonight. But you had some guys that nobody believed in. Some guy named Matt Stafford, right? But he put up pretty decent numbers. He didn't have a lot of success late in the season or in the playoffs, but they put him into a better situation, and he was able to make some things happen. That's what you can say about a guy like Carson Wentz. His numbers say that, and not this crazy, ridiculous rant that you're going on. What's the difference between him and Matt Stafford?
Wentz to Stafford, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, I'm gonna tell you.
Let's go by the numbers.
I'm gonna tell you what Jimmy G and Wentz are. It's like, and both of these are bad. So everybody, please don't get mad at me. But do you rather have chlamydia or gonorrhea? They're both bad. Okay, they're both bad. Okay, that's what you get when you're getting those quarterbacks. That's what you're getting. Okay, they're diseases. I don't know which they're diseases that spreads on the whole team. The whole team will be going to the doctor's office for some penicillin. That's what's going to happen.
It's the Washington Penicillin. That's the new team name. All right. Let me throw out one last team. One last trade, guys. One last trade. Khalil Mack goes from the Bears to the Chargers for 2nd and 6th. The Chargers need Khalil Mack because now with Russ, Mahomes, and Carr in the same division, you better put pressure on these quarterbacks, but they're going to pay top dollar for Mack, who's now 31, who is not a pillar of health anymore. Swame, good deal or bad deal for the Chargers?
I'm going to be honest with you, Doc. I like what they are thinking. You put him and Bosa, and you got probably two of the top 3 or 4 guys helping you out in the division where you're going to need that help. They're going to have a tough go at it with these quarterbacks, and they're going to need to figure something out because I don't think they're going to win a shootout, right? And I don't think they want to. I think they want to try to stop some folks, and then they got a quarterback they know can put up some points, an offense they know can move the ball, and you have that's your only chance to win. There's no way you're going to expect to get past these guys without him. Now, is he getting up in age? Sure. Is he unhealthy? Sometimes being unhealthy sometimes is, like I said, that bad luck that I just described. And when you're on a bad team and you're trying and really trying and you're pressing to make something happen, I feel like sometimes that stuff happens because of those kind of things. It's kind of like I want to say we had a situation where you bring in a guy maybe like, into a bad situation. He's really trying to, do his best, whatever the case might be. Team isn't playing really well. And as a result, this happens or that happens and it's all bad. Then you get these guys, they come into a better situation, right? It's a great thing, great chemistry, great team. And suddenly that little bit more that they have looks a lot more because of what's happening on the back end, what's happening on the other side. And that's where I think Khalil is at. What you got to say about that?
I actually think you had to make this deal if you're going to do it. You got to make the deal, and this is the reason why they always play light in the box. That's how they play. Okay, and one thing Mac is good at is he's good at shutting down that perimeter. Okay, so if he stays healthy, and you got Bosa on the other side, Listen, they can, and you got to understand, they still got a lot of salary cap left. They got, Justin Herbert's counting like $7 million on the cap. Okay, so they got a little time to play around, and that's going to be a place that people will want to come to because the quarterback is nice, and they got great pieces around there. So I think Khalil Mack, listen, you got to take the shot. You know what I mean? A closed mouth doesn't get fed, so you have to take.
He's a beast. You finally got something right.
When he's healthy, he's a beast. And by the way, I think it was actually a good deal for the Bears. I do, because the Bears aren't going anywhere. You get a couple of picks for this guy. You shed some contract money, which was a big contract. Maybe you can go sign a couple of guys. You got a pick now. Look, the Bears aren't going anywhere either. I think this gives the Chargers a chance. You got Derwin James, Kenneth Murray, Bosa, Justin Jones, and Mack.
And they can and if you add to Samuel, you could get like a Jackson. You got some cornerback that's available. They got some money. So you could do that. You could add some more pieces to the team.
You talking about the Chargers, right?
Chargers.
Yes.
Yeah, the Bears that's a waste of opportunity. Yes.
Yeah, the Chargers, but you can add some more pieces.
That is non-dairy, pure grade A ass milk.
Poo. That's right.
Terrible.
All right, guys. It was a good show. I had fun.
Yeah. Clearly, somebody's off their medication, though, Doc. Rascal.
If you've been going through the PTSD that I've been going through with the commander / Askins, you'll be the same way, sir. I've been hit on the head. It's like I get the news.
Look at those eyeballs.
I get the news. I know. These are Mike Singletary eyes. I get the news and I hear that Wentz is coming to us and what we gave him. All I gotta say is this: Mr. Snyder better not be seen on the street. That's all I gotta say.
So who you rather have then?
Listen, I'd rather have that you go through the draft. And listen, we've been piecing this together for years. It's time for them. I mean, listen, if you don't have a guy that could draft, listen. I mean, I will go with the quarterback that we had. I mean, he stinks, but at least you get a year or two to get somebody in there, man.
Willie, Heineke was good, and then he got bad at the end of the year. There was a middle of the year where he was legitimately decent. And
I don't have a problem with that. I will still go with him until you find somebody. I just don't like giving up draft choices, giving up pieces, and overpaying for some sorry son of a gun who was trying to get rid of him anyway. You know what I mean?
They wanted him out of Indianapolis badly. He wasn't vaccinated.
And his coach was there. His coach didn't want him.
Right.
His coach, he said, "Oh my gosh, he stinks. He stinks." His last couple of games, he was stinking so bad. The coach, I saw the coach about to smack him in his face.
Anytime you can bring in a veteran guy coming off over 3,500, 27-7, that's not the worst decision that they've made in the recent history.
$22 million, which is a good buy. How much do you think, Willie, Kirk Cousins is going to cost this year? How much? Close to $40 million. You're getting Wentz for half price.
So Michael Jackson looking for you. So what that mean?
And you gave away him. You drafted Haskins. You gave away RG3. You keep talking about y'all can't do this and y'all can't. Y'all done it.
Yeah, one of those quarterbacks. What I'm saying, sir, is we are a mess. Okay, we are a mess.
Healthy. It's fair point.
We are a mess. What do you want me to say?
Would you rather, Swame? Would you rather be a Lions fan right now or a Commanders fan right now?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I'd rather be a Lions fan. And the reason I say that is because of that little bit of momentum they had at the end of the year, right? It seemed like they at least had their fans interested, and their fans were excited and interested in watching them is what I mean. St. Brown, Swift, what these guys had going on, they were making plays. And sometimes even when you got a bad football team, you just like having, something to cheer for, having some big plays and plays being made. The Commanders had some of that, but it was just too many long stretches of just nothing to cheer for. So give me the Lions and that fan base.
So now, Doc, what that does, Doc, is now he answers the question about Wentz. All right. So he'd rather take the Lions over them. I don't need to say no more.
He's not the worst guy. I will not let you say he's not based on these numbers. No way.
Pretty close.
Sir, his middle name is Chlamydia. I'm telling you.
Double C, Carson.
Your middle name is Chlamydia.
Chlamydia, gonorrhea.
Doc, what is he talking about? Doc,
I stopped listening 20 minutes ago. All right. Time now to put away the insurance cards. Thankfully, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. We are back next Friday night. We are Friday Night Lights. For Willie and the Swame, I'm Dr. Roto saying be well. And what is it, guys?
Take care.
Take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.
Damn.